Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Before we get into the subject of this video, I do have a bit of a myriad of things to let you know about. So the first major thing is that on the Discord right now, over the weekend, we are doing a giveaway for 2 of the packs which are coming out for War Thunder in Updates 1.81. And the great thing about it is you can choose what pack you want. So we're doing the T55 AM pack, the XM1 pack, which is obviously from the patch before, but if you want it, you can have it. The helicopter pack, either of them, and then of course the leopard pack as well. If you win the giveaway, you get the choice of which pack you want to get. Now, unfortunately, this is only available for PC users because we can't gift stuff to console users. So in the future, we will do other stuff for the console users in the form of giveaways, just to make sure we don't leave you out. On top of this, we had Awesome's Tank Show 2.5 today. Kind of a dress rehearsal for the actual tank show, which will be happening in a few months. I just want to thank everyone who participated. It was a really fun time. There was an absolute ton of people there. I've never seen that many people in a custom battle, and I just want to say thank you, even though my frame rate definitely struggled because of it. If you want to see what we did, you can go to the stream earlier today, and that'll show you what we were doing. Also, on top of this, as I said, we will be covering the shows going forward. If you want to follow Awesome, he is found, or is the leader of the Strong Army server, and he does air shows, tank shows, more community event-based stuff, and it's really, really good. It's great to actually get the community involved and everything like that. On top of that, we also have the merchandise store. We will have a new design incredibly soon, so look forward to that. But if you haven't checked it out, links to all of the stuff I've talked about are in the description. Let's actually get into the video. Oh, by the way, once you enter the Discord, understand that there is a little bit of a timer before you are given a role, so in order you can see everything. The reason for this is to stop spammers and people just going crazy, and we're also setting up to do a tournament at the end of the month. So look forward to all of those things. It's going to be an absolutely wonderful time. Let's get into the video. So we have the War Thunder Devblog for the TAM. Now we knew the TAM was coming, as it says here, because it was shown at Gamescom. This means that we have a little bit of insight compared to what this can tell us. The main reason to read this Devblog personally would be to read about its history, but everything else that's talked about it was already talked about at Gamescom or shown. The first thing to understand is that this is a light tank, not a medium tank, and the reason for this is because its armor is not great. 50mm at most on the front, and most areas are going to be around about 30. This is not something that is going to survive a lot of shots, but may actually be helped out by what I like to call the 2K principle. When you have a crazy angle on not a lot of armor, sometimes your rounds bounce or disappear when you feel like they shouldn't. The TAM is going to be exactly the same way with that upper front plate. It's angled incredibly steeply, as you can see. So hitting the lower glacis and the turrets is going to be what you want to, go for. On top of this, it has a Argentinian-built L7A3, the British gun. This is the same gun that you find on the Leopard A1A1, and at least on the dev server, this gun had exactly the same rounds as not on the dev server, on the Gamescom client. The gun on the TAM had exactly the same shells as the Leopard A1A1. What was interesting about it, though, was that it was at 9.0. So this tank is thrown once again into that 9.0 bracket. It seems like they're trying to make 9.0 a thing now with a bunch of new premiums, a bunch of new 9.0s to try and separate it from that 10.0 bracket, to try and stop it getting, souped up all into the 10.0s. Because there is some really cool 9.0 and 9.3 tanks, but they're not going to be seen a lot because the 10.0s are going to annihilate them. So if you make the 9.0 bracket its own thing, then maybe you see more of these tanks around. The TAM also, because it's not a medium tank, it's a light tank, it should get access to binoculars, airstrike, and also the other ability that it gets for being a light tank and a scout tank. Hopefully it does get the scouting features. If it does, this will be another tank I will play and have a lot of fun in. But the issue is, if it doesn't, then you're basically just looking at a worse Well, actually, no. This is the interesting one. So, when we talk about the triangle of things, so we have armor, gun, and maneuverability. Now, higher tiers, gun and maneuverability are the two main things, where armor is definitely secondary to the two major factors. When I look at the TAM, we have a machine where they've stripped a lot of armor, they've increased how fast it is, so when we compare it to like an A1A1 or something like that, this is only a 30-ton tank, and the gun has stayed the same, and it's around about the same BR. So with all of that said, maybe we have a vehicle that would actually perform better than the Leopard A1A1 just because of that armor thing, and it should also have a weird bouncy turret on it, which all of these wonderful things have. Just remember, even though it's an Argentinian tank, it is technically based off a German vehicle, the Marder 4, or the Marder IVF. I'll just check that because I don't want to get that wrong for you. Yeah, the IFV, I believe it's called. Yeah, the German Marder IFV. So, with that said, it was based off that. It was also a bunch of German engineers who helped the Argentinians build them, so therefore it's going to be in the German tree. This isn't a premium, this is just straight into the German tree. My guess would be straight after the Begleitpanzer, so that is something to look forward to. But yeah, this gun, it's stabilized, and should be good at higher speeds, and it is a very quick vehicle, should have great acceleration on it. The only downside is armor, and since armor is, as I said, one of the tertiary issues of top tier, it shouldn't be that much of an issue. The problem with this will be its ability to get up-tiered. If it gets up-tiered into stuff like Abrams, stuff like Type 90s and T64s and the new T80, remember, then yeah, it's going to struggle. But most tanks, when they're on a full 1.0 up-tier, do struggle. There aren't many out there which are just going to take it in their stride. I mean, there's a few, like the KV can, the Jumbo can, basically the Object 120 also can, just either machines which have decent armor and fast firing guns, or machines which have massive guns for their tier, but not too massive, like the FV405, like the 120, or like something like a KV2. These are vehicles that can be up-tiered because their gun is still useful. So with this all said, getting the TAM in game is pretty cool. It is an interesting vehicle. It's another vehicle that personally fits my playstyle. I like this idea of light armor, quick, and scouting. That's why I'm a big proponent for stuff like the Scorpion for the British, and more light tanks in general. That's why I'm really happy to see the Char 25T. One of my biggest issues with it is the fact that it's another one of these rank 6 vehicles. It's a 9.0, so it could be in rank 5, could be in rank 6. My guess is it's going to sit in rank 6. And the problem with this is that it's another vehicle that's going to be 360, 380,000 RP. I think we're at the point now where it's probably a bit worse than before when people were complaining about the RP grind in tanks. So I think it may be worth getting a reduction on a lot of these things. The TAM, for me, is not going to be a vehicle that a lot of people play just because of where it sits on the tree. Most people will go down the Leopard line first and then move on to stuff like the Gepard and the TAM. So with that said, I think it may be worth, with machines like this, with the 906, with its BR changed, with a bunch of rank 6 vehicles, just lower their RP costs. 380,000, 390,000 RP is a ridiculous amount, especially for people who don't have premium. And I think it definitely should be cut. I'm not exactly sure on the percentage, but I'd definitely at least say, cut by 30% and see where we go from there. Near a half would be a better thing. And also, obviously, the issue with modifications. But overall, I'm looking forward to this. I find this much more interesting than a T80 or an M1IP or a helicopter. For me, this is something that can carry a game simply through its maneuverability and being able to scout the enemies. And as you go up higher in the ranks, you realize that scouting becomes more effective because more people look at their maps. So with that said, I really hope this gets access to scouting. If it doesn't, then yeah, it's going to be one of those vehicles that's cool to play, kind of like how the 906 used to be, but overall, will be not great because of its up-tier ability. The 906, when it was up-tiered, was completely fine, but if this thing gets up-tiered, yeah, you're in hell and high water. It's as simple as that. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.